A missile streaks across the Iranian sky, lands outside Tel Aviv, and sets off alarms in Pentagon war rooms. Meanwhile, in Mumbai, a Chinese cargo vessel unloads Russian oil settled in rupees and yuan. Not a single dollar moved. This wasn't the plan. This wasn't the order. But it's now the new operating system of the world. Ukraine was supposed to be NATO's statement of resolve. Hundreds of billions in arms, surveillance, and training. The expectation, widely circulated through Western think tanks, was that Russia would be isolated, its economy choked, and its military broken. Instead, according to Bloomberg, Russia's GDP is projected to grow faster than every G7 country in 2025. Oil continues to flow. The ruble, backed by trade with China and India, has stabilized. And on the battlefield, Russia holds more territory today than it did before the invasion. Iran's fate was also prescripted. Western sanctions, targeted assassinations, and economic blockades were expected to keep the Islamic Republic boxed in. But when Israel launched a precision strike in June, eliminating multiple senior officials, Iran retaliated within hours, and the Wall Street Journal confirmed over 300 drones and missiles were fired. And while most were intercepted, a dozen got through, striking military installations and intelligence sites. The cost comparison was catastrophic. One $800,000 Iranian rocket burned two $3 million Israeli interceptors. The math doesn't lie. And then came China. Not through war, but through dependency. According to the Financial Times, China refines as over 90% of the world's gallium, germanium, and rare earths, materials critical for radar, satellites, missile guidance, and EVs. In 2023, Beijing restricted exports of these minerals. By early 2024, Western arms manufacturers were quietly warning of bottlenecks. The contradiction. The same country the West tries to contain is the one supplying the parts for the weapons meant to contain it. Liu Yuchong, deputy director of China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, told the People's Daily, "We no longer sell components, we sell leverage." In July 2024, the Pentagon's munitions report revealed a chilling fact. Production of certain guided weapons had stalled, not from budget cuts, but from a lack of refined antimony and tungsten, both sourced predominantly from China. NATO's defense pledge, aimed at rearming the alliance, was undermined not by will, but by minerals. Former NATO procurement chief Camille Grand told Lamont, "In war planning, we assumed ammunition shortages, not periodic table shortages." The EU committed €500 billion to defense modernization. But as Germany's Rheinmetall CEO told Reuters, "We can't meet contract without inputs, and those inputs come from China." BRICS, often dismissed as an acronym more than a bloc, began expanding. In late 2023, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa invited Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Argentina, and the UAE. Together they control 44% of global oil reserves and over half of global food production capacity. Cyril Ramaphosa, South African president, said at the 2023 BRICS Plus Summit, "This is no longer a club of ambition. It's a platform of supply." The World Bank reported in the second quarter of 2025 that BRICS Plus economies are outpacing the G7 in both GDP growth and trade volume. This isn't hypothetical. This is measurable. In April, Brazil and China settled 85% of their trade in yuan and rise. India now settles Russian oil deals in rupees. The SWIFT system along the Western monopoly on global banking faces pressure from Beijing's CIS system and Moscow's SBFS. According to the Bank for International Settlements, dollar reserves have fallen to 57% globally, a 30-year low. The reserve currency isn't disappearing, it's diluting. Roberto Campos Antio, Brazil's central bank president, told Fotis S. Paulo, for the first time, reserve diversification isn't theoretical. It's transactional. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. The United States built the global framework. Bretton Woods, SWIFT, the IMF. Its power came from ubiquity. But ubiquity only works if others can't opt out. Now they can. Even multinational corporations are adapting. Apple accepted yuan payments for component purchases in Shenzhen. Tesla partnered with BRICS-backed lithium suppliers in Bolivia and Zimbabwe. According to the Wall Street Journal, nearly 60% of Fortune 500 companies now conduct some transactions outside the dollar. Decoupling may be the policy, but recoupling with BRICS is a reality. An Indian trade official told The Hindu, "We don't decouple, we dual track." That's how modern empires survive. India plays both sides with surgical precision. It participates in Quad naval drills with the United States while increasing oil imports from Russia and investing in Iran's Chabahar port, a move sanctioned by Washington. India's Ministry of Commerce reported a 220% increase in bilateral trade with Russia in 2024. Strategic ambiguity isn't a failure of diplomacy, it's a mastery of it. Africa's pivot is subtler, but no less decisive. Nigeria secured a $15 billion infrastructure package from China's Exim Bank. Egypt, a new BRICS member, transitioned 20% of its defense procurement to joint projects with Russia and China. Kenya, meanwhile, shifted GPS military targeting from U.S.-based systems to China's Bay. The West talks of shared values. BRICS offers roads, chips, and energy without strings. Kipchumba Murkomen, Kenya's infrastructure minister, told Business Daily Africa, "We are not rejecting the West. We're just rejecting delays." In Europe, the split is no longer theoretical. France signed LNG contracts with Qatar, settled in yuan. Hungary accepted Chinese investment for a new battery megafactory. According to Europe, China overtook the U.S. as Europe's top trading partner in 2024. On paper, the EU criticizes China's unfair practices. In practice, it signs deals every quarter. Viktor Orban, Hungary's prime minister, told Mandarin Weekly, "We are Europeans, but we be fools to ignore who builds our batteries." Semiconductors were supposed to be the choke point. The U.S. imposed export bans targeting Huawei, SMIC, and China's AI chip sector. The result, DigiTimes reports that Jining Technology posted a 30% year-over-year surge in its substrate division. Their strategy, China for China, build locally, sell locally, insulate from sanctions. Suanji, CTO of Jining Tech, told King Global, "U.S. sanctions made us localize 5 years faster than planned. Thank you." At the same time, NVIDIA's H20 chip was banned, but local substitutes surged in demand. CEO Jensen Huang called the export ban a strategic backfire. Taiwan's Unimicron, once dominant in substrate manufacturing, reported declining utilization at its mainland facilities. Meanwhile, Chinese competitors fill the gap and now threaten to surpass Taiwanese firms in volume by 2026. Containment assumed China needed Western intellectual property, but the sanctions triggered a domestic tech rally. China didn't pause. It accelerated. Currency fragmentation is no longer a forecast. It's operational. The Shanghai Energy Exchange now settles oil contracts in yuan. Russian firms are testing gold-backed digital rubles. The UAE and India finalized a deal to settle oil in dirhams and rupees. Bloomberg reported that by May 2025, 22% of all global oil contracts were settled in non-dollar currencies. That figure was just 6% 3 years ago. A UAE energy official told Al Arabia, "If our barrels go east, why should our billing go west?" Even soft power is shifting. According to QS World Rankings, Tsinghua and Penn University are now among the top 20 globally. U.S. universities, previously dominant, are slipping, citing affordability issues and visa bottlenecks. Latin American, African, and Southeast Asian students are increasingly opting for BRICS-aligned schools. This isn't about ideology. It's about access and relevance. Ben Sauter, editor at QS World Rankings, told Times Higher Ed, "The demand curve is shifting. Students chase relevance, not flags." And now the final contradiction. The very system designed by the West, free markets, global trade, technological diffusion, is the engine of BRICS' rise. The dollar system incentivized scale. Now that scale lives in BRICS economies. Export controls designed to freeze rivals have instead birthed domestic ecosystems. Michael Pettis, economist at Peking University, noted, "You can't contain a country by forcing it to grow its own economy, and the compliance that once kept nations in line is now optional. You don't control the system when you're the only one obeying it. Iran launches a missile. China clears an oil contract in yuan. Russia ships fertilizer to Brazil without SWIFT. Each act is separate. Together, they form a pattern. What we're seeing is not defiance. It's departure, not a collapse, a replacement. The old order wasn't overthrown. It was outgrown. This isn't a BRICS victory parade. These countries face internal crises, poverty, censorship, inequality, corruption, but they no longer need Western validation to act. And in a world where alternatives exist, monopoly is impossible. The West hasn't lost control, but control is no longer presumed. H.R. McMaster, former U.S. National Security Advisor, said at a size panel in 2025, influence without exclusivity is the new frontier of power. So we end where we began. A missile lands in Tel Aviv. A cargo ship docks in Mumbai. A transaction clears in Shanghai. Not one required